Right. The laws of nature, sometimes people will say, well, maybe there's a law of nature that we haven't discovered yet that will explain where information comes from. That sounds kind of plausible because we think of the laws of nature as things which explain, there are fundamental tools for explaining things in the natural world. One of the reasons I like the Newton story that we just talked about is that it shows that our fundamental laws of physics very oftentimes are merely describing what generally happens without providing a causal explanation for any given event. And the other thing to note about the laws of nature is that they describe repetitive patterns, things that happen in a similar way over and over again. So we may have, I was dropping my cell phone a minute ago, and I could drop it 100 times, and you'd see basically the same event. And we would, because we'd seen that same kind of event over and over again, we could come up with a law, in fact Newton did, a law of gravity to describe this repeating phenomena that we see over and over again. And he used a simple mathematical equation to describe those gravitational motions. And so the laws of nature have a characteristic that information scientists call redundancy. They're describing the same thing over and over again. Remember the old joke about Department of Redundancy Department, JJ speaking. You've got the laws of nature describe redundant patterns of order, repetitive patterns of order. But informational sequences are by definition something different than that. They are aperiodic and complex in that they are not reducible to simple patterns that repeat over and over again. If I sit here and say T-H-E, T-H-E, or recite a mantra, whatever information was in the first utterance I gave you has not been added to by those additional utterances, okay? That's redundancy. And so the laws of nature describe redundant patterns of order. They do not explain the origin of aperiodic, complex, and specified sequences that are conveying information. It's the wrong kind of beast. It's the wrong kind of entity to explain the thing that's of interest here.